Have you ever packed a suitcase so full that you had to sit on it just to zip it shut? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the thing, most cruisers bring way too much. By the end of the trip, they regret it. Cruise cabins are small, storage is tight, and half the stuff you think you'll need, you're not even gonna touch it. Plus, the more you pack, the more you pay. Extra bags, overweight fees, it all adds up. So today, I'm breaking down the most pointless, space-wasting, and totally unnecessary things people pack for a cruise so you can save space, save money, and pack smarter. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. In today's video, we're tackling one of the biggest cruise mistakes, overpacking. Because let's be real, cruise cabins are tiny and the last thing you want is to waste space on things you'll never use. In this video, we'll cover the packing mistake that could cost you extra before you even board the ship, one item that seems useful but will make your already small cabin even more cramped, and a simple piece of clothing that could actually get you arrested in port. So stick around as I break down the most pointless, space-wasting, and just plain unnecessary things people bring on a cruise, so you can pack smarter and save yourself the hassle. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. Let's start with something a lot of first-time cruisers pack. An iron or clothing steamer. It seems practical, right? Gotta keep those dinner outfits looking fresh. Well, bad news. Cruise lines hate these things because they're a fire hazard, which means security will confiscate them at embarkation and hold them hostage until the end of your cruise. Now, some of you might be thinking, so Evan, you're telling me I have to walk around looking like a wrinkled mess all week? Not so fast, my friend. Instead of an iron, grab a travel-sized wrinkle release spray. It works surprisingly well. Or here's a pro tip, hang your clothes in the bathroom while you shower and the steam will help smooth them out. The bottom line, your iron isn't setting sail, so don't even bother packing it. Now, I get it. You're heading on a cruise, which means beaches, pools, and soaking up the sun. So packing your own big, fluffy beach towel seems like a smart move, right? Wrong. Cruise lines already provide towels for free, both on the pool deck and for shore excursions. And these aren't the thin, sad excuses for towels you get at a cheap motel. They're full-sized, absorbent, and take up zero space in your luggage. Now, if you lose one, that's another story because cruise lines will happily charge you $25 or more to replace it. So skip the bulky beach towel and save that suitcase space for something you'll actually use. And one other thing, if you're looking to book your own dream cruise out of Galveston, Texas, or anywhere else, my friends at Cruises It can hook you up with discounted rates, exclusive perks, and the best price guaranteed. They're a top agency with access to special inventory that's often locked in years in advance. Plus, they get exclusive cruise line discounts and stack their own agency deals for even more savings. Their cruise fare watch system also tracks price drops until final payment, so you never overpay. To get these perks for yourself, click on the link in the description below and they will hook you up. So with that out of the way, let's get back to the rankings for all the cruises out of Galveston, Texas. Some of you like to set the mood or make your cabin smell more like home, but bringing candles or incense on a cruise is not happening. Cruise lines strictly ban anything with an open flame because, well, fire and boats simply do not mix. If security finds one in your bag, they'll confiscate it and you'll be left wondering why your suitcase smells like a Bath and Body Works warehouse. And let's be honest, lighting a scented candle in a tiny enclosed room, probably not the relaxing experience you imagined.
Oh, fire! Oh my goodness! What's the procedure?
If you want your cabin to smell nice, bring a small room spray or some dryer sheets, not a fire hazard. Before I move on to the next item not to pack, I have a quick request for something you should do, and that is subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss future cruise tips videos. It's simple and it would mean the world to me. So with that out of the way, let's get back to the list. Bringing expensive jewelry on a cruise might sound like a good idea. Fancy dinners, formal nights, maybe even a proposal. But in reality, it's more stress than it's worth. First, you don't need it. Formal nights are much more relaxed these days, and you'll fit in just fine without flashing a small fortune around your neck. Second, losing it would be a nightmare. Whether it slips off at dinner, disappears in your cabin, or gets left behind in a port, replacing it could cost you thousands. And if you think locking it in the cabin safe is foolproof, let's just say those aren't exactly Fort Knox. The bottom line, leave the diamonds and designer watches at home. Cruise life is better when you don't have to worry about losing them. Some people swear by their own hairdryer, but unless you're doing full-on salon blowouts every night, you don't need one. Every cruise cabin already comes with its own hairdryer. Is it the most powerful thing in the world? No, but it'll get the job done unless you're rocking some seriously high-maintenance hair. I'm not. Plus, packing your own just wastes luggage space, and trust me, that space is better used for something you'll actually need. And if you're worried about cruise ship hair, here's a pro tip. Embrace the sea breeze. It's free and it gives you that effortlessly tousled look people pay good money for. Leave the bulky hair dryer at home. Your cabin's got you covered. At first glance, an over-the-door organizer seems like a genius cruise hack. Extra storage for shoes, toiletries, and whatever else. It sounds great until you actually try using one. Most cruise cabin doors just aren't built for these, and some cruise lines even ban them because they can damage the door or scratch the finish on the walls. Plus, modern cabins already have plenty of built-in storage, so you're just adding unnecessary bulk. Wait, cruise cabins actually have storage? I thought I was going to be living out of my suitcase all week. Look, I get it. Staying organized on a cruise ship can be a challenge, but instead of wrestling with a giant hanging organizer, use packing cubes or take advantage of the shelves and drawers that are already there. Trust me, you will not miss it. Towel clips seem like a small, harmless thing to pack, but trust me, they're more trouble than they're worth. Most of the time, they're just not necessary, and if you're worried about your towel flying away, just sit on it or drape it over the back of your chair. Plus, these clips take up more space in your bag than you'd think, especially if you're packing enough for the whole family. So Evan, you're telling me my flamingo-shaped towel clips aren't an absolute cruise essential? That's exactly what I'm telling you. And if you really want to keep your towel in place, towel bands are a smaller, easier option, but in most cases, you'll be just fine without them. Packing a power strip seems like a great idea. After all, cruise cabins don't have many outlets. But if yours has a surge protector, security will confiscate it before you even set foot on the ship. And if you're sailing with Royal Caribbean, listen up. They now ban all power strips with power plugs, even if they don't have surge protection. So if you're planning on bringing one of those, it's time for Plan B. So wait, I can bring a power strip, but only if it's the right kind? This is feeling a lot like a pop quiz. Yes, you're not wrong about that, but don't worry, I found a great solution that I've used on Royal Caribbean with zero issues. It's a USB-only charging hub, and it is the way to go, letting you charge multiple devices at once without breaking the rules. I've got a link to that in the description below, so definitely check that out if you're like me and have all sorts of things you want to charge. And beyond that, check before you pack, otherwise you'll be picking it up at the end of your cruise. Packing for a cruise feels like a challenge. You want options, backup outfits, and something for every possible scenario. But here's the truth. You're probably bringing way too many clothes. Most people end up wearing the same few outfits on repeat, especially on warm weather cruises where shorts and t-shirts are your daily uniform. Overpacking just means digging through extra stuff in your tiny cabin, and if your bag is overweight, you might even get hit with the airline fees before you board. Okay, but what if I spill something on my favorite shirt, huh? What about that, Evan? That's what travel size laundry detergent and a Tide stick is for. A quick sink wash and you're good to go. Plus, less luggage means more room for souvenirs, or at least avoiding the struggle of shoving everything back into your suitcase at the end of your trip. Ask me how I know about that one. Pack smarter, not heavier. You'll thank me later. Speaking of overpacking, let's talk about shoes, because if there's one thing people bring way too many of, it's these. Shoes take up a ridiculous amount of space in your suitcase, yet somehow people convince themselves they need a different pair for every outfit. Spoiler alert, you don't. For most cruises, you can get by with just 3 pairs of shoes. A pair of comfortable walking shoes for excursions, sandals or flip-flops for pool days, and 1 pair of dress shoes if you plan on dressing up for dinner. That's it. Anything more and you're just hauling around extra weight for no reason. But Evan, what if I need a backup pair in case one gets wet? If you're that worried, pack a lightweight pair of water shoes. Otherwise, you'll just end up shoving unworn sneakers back into your suitcase at the end of the trip.
Hey! Welcome to the real world. It sucks.
Be realistic with your footwear. Your suitcase and your bag will thank you. Since we're on a roll with overpacking, let's talk about something that really doesn't belong in your suitcase at all: hangers. Cruise cabins already come with all the hangers you're gonna need in your closet, and if you need more, you can just ask your cabin steward. But unless you're planning on turning your stateroom into a walk-in boutique, there's no reason to waste luggage space on something the cruise line already provides. And if you're worried about things slipping off, pack a couple of clips instead. They're tiny and they actually serve a purpose. Save the space for something you'll actually use. A lot of people assume they need to exchange money before their cruise, but if you're sailing to Caribbean ports, it's just not necessary. US dollars are widely accepted in the vast majority of Caribbean areas, and even if you do need local currency, ATMs are available. Plus, many shops and restaurants take credit cards, so unless you're heading somewhere truly off the beaten path, there's no need to stuff your wallet with pesos or Bahamian dollars. Now, if you're cruising somewhere like Europe or South America, those may be a different story, but for most Caribbean cruises, save yourself the hassle and skip the exchange. Now guys, I'm gonna be honest, we've all been here with this next one, staring at an item and thinking, but what if I need this? Next thing you know, your suitcase is full of stuff you'll never touch. At home, it feels like a good idea. You convince yourself that extra gadgets, backup outfits, and emergency gear might come in handy. But once you're on the cruise, you realize you've packed an entire pharmacy, 3 just-in-case jackets, and gear for situations that were never going to happen.
You think you can do these things, but you can't, Nemo!
Pack for what's likely to happen, not for a zombie apocalypse. Your suitcase and your back will thank you. Here's one that surprises a lot of first-time cruisers. Packing camouflage clothing can actually get you in trouble in some countries. Several Caribbean nations, including Barbados, Jamaica, and St. Lucia, ban civilians from wearing camouflage because it's reserved for the military. If you show up in camo shorts or a jacket, you could be fined or in rare cases even arrested.
Gentlemen, milady, you will always remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
So the moral of the story here, leave the camo at home unless you want your vacation to include a chat with local law enforcement. Some people feel the need to pack a stash of snacks like they're heading into the wilderness instead of a cruise ship packed with unlimited food. But unless you have a medical or dietary reason, bringing extra food is almost always unnecessary. Cruise ships have tons of free dining options, plus room service, buffets, and late night snacks. And if you try sneaking in something like fresh fruit, you could end up getting it confiscated or possibly even fined when returning to the US. But Evan, what if I wake up at 2 a.m. and desperately need a snack? That's what room service is for. If you really need something for port days, bring pre-packaged snacks, but for the most part, you'll have more than enough food on board. Now that you know what not to pack, you're one step closer to a smooth, stress-free cruise. And the best part, avoiding these mistakes means you'll have more space, less hassle, and maybe even save a little money on baggage fees. The bad news? Packing smart is only half the battle, because if you don't plan your excursions the right way, you could end up overpaying or missing out on the best experiences in port. The good news? I've got you covered. In this next video, I'll show you how to book incredible excursions without the crowds and without overpaying, so you can make the most of every stop while keeping more money for your next adventure. Click it now and I'll show you exactly how to maximize your experience without blowing your budget. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may your seas be smooth and your horizons wide. Bon voyage!